I want to tell you about the first radio programs I ever did and playing music. Well, where I was raised was kind of on top of this mountain, and in order to meet up with the people that I was going to Richlands, Virginia with, to the radio station called WRIC in Richlands, Virginia, and we would have to go over there every Saturday morning and be there at 10 o'clock for a 30-minute live radio program. Well, I lived up on top of this mountain, and my old banjo, they didn't have banjo cases, or I didn't have one back then, and I just had a banjo similar to this one here that I had built, and in order to carry it, I'd put it in a feed sack, and I could tie it up and have a string on it, and I could strap it around my shoulder and carry it a lot easier, and tree limb or something like that hit it while I was walking off the hill down this path, and I'd meet up with Warren Mullins. That was the man's name, and they called him the singing coal miner, and he worked in the coal mines at that time, and I was about 12 years old, I guess, 12 and a half, and we would practice at his house, and he lived fairly close, well, actually within 300 or 400 yards of where I had the bicycle wreck one time, ran into a cow. But anyway, we would meet at his house. I'd walk off of the hill and he'd pick me up, and we'd go to his house, usually on a Wednesday or something like that. We wasn't out anywhere, and we practiced. Now back then you didn't have 5 microphones for them to sing over and 5 microphones for them to pick over. You had one microphone, and you had to learn how to maneuver in. It was just about like a dance, because each fella would have a certain place to stand so his instrument could be heard. Whoever had the loudest instrument, he was the farthest away from the microphone. We didn't have engineers back then to tune you in and out like you have now. We had to do all of that ourselves. Well, we practiced around this old broom. He set this old broom up, leaned it up against a chair, and that's what we practiced around. You know, how to move around and not hit each other, be in and out when we were supposed to. Well, when we got to the radio station the first time on Saturday, why, we had that thing made to where we knew exactly what we were doing, and we did that radio program, and then we went on to a theater, was in Richlands there, and we had a hayride. Of course, we had guests that come in, and some of them would be doing country music, and some would be doing old time, and that went on for 2 hours. And so we had a big time doing that, but learning how to move in around a microphone, and you had just one microphone in the studio, that was something back then. It would be kind of hard for some of these guys now to move in and out and be in place all the time so they could be heard from the way we used to have to do it. Well, when we would get through with the hayride, most of the time we'd have to climb in an old Buick or Oldsmobile or something, and we'd ride for a couple hours until nearly dark, and to get to a schoolhouse or a theater or something like that to where we were going to perform again that night. And we only had one microphone there, and that's the way we did it for years. And we'd play around this one microphone. It's just like a dance about it. You know, if we were doing a fast tune, do your part and you'd slip out and the fiddle would slip in. And of course the guitar now, he stood in one position about all the time because he was usually the lead singer and he would be right there ready. But the rest of us, we had to move in and out. And of course the bass fiddle couldn't get in our way. He would have to be at a certain point, and we knew where everyone was. So the mandolin and banjo and the fiddle, we did a dance at every show like that. And it would probably be comical right now if people saw us do what we did back then. That was a treat to get to learn all of that. And I guess maybe I could start a school and teach some of these guys how to move in and out away from a microphone so someone else can get in when they need to play.